Come here. Welcome to the Famous Foxes Aftermath Show, live every Sunday on Leicester Fan TV. Come on, you Foxes.
Good morning, everyone. Thought I'd come and have my cup of tea ready to go, just like Jamie used to. How are you all doing, guys? It is the Famous Foxes Aftermath Show. It's going to be closer now, closer and closer to getting to the start of the season. It's only, one more preseason game left, and then you've got the start of the season the week after that. What our thoughts, comments are, get your views in, everyone. It's going to be an interesting show, especially with obviously 2 games over the last few days. On Friday, 2 games together. 1 win, 1 loss. That is our unbeaten streak lost. But I think the majority of it is more about just getting the fitness in the legs, isn't it? And making sure we are ready for that last pre-season game before the new season. Andy, I can see your message. Neil, I can see your message. I'll be bringing up in a second. Let's get some comments on. Matthew, how are we doing, mate? Andy, how are we doing? Neil, all good, mate. Thank you. Craig says, morning, REEEDY and all us fans. Of course. And Gray says, morning. At least I'm not late this time, apparently. At least I'm not late. So yeah, we'll talk a few topics today. We'll talk about pre-season games. I'll see you on Friday. We'll talk about the Fiorentina game coming up. I know probably Phil's talking about that as well tomorrow. And then the transfers. Obviously, I've called it transfers today because I think that's the main thing. We've got 2 weeks left, really, today until we start the new season, and we've got to get some people out the door and in the door. So for me, it's just about getting some players out and trying to get some players in if we can and if we need to. I will play the intro and we'll get straight into the video.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials.
Yes, that's right, guys. Make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials. I'll just change that now. But yeah, we'll get a few more comments in before we do bring Nick in. Dan Martin here says, good morning, REEEDY. When are we buying a striker? Don't ask me. Right now, I'd say that in the position we're in, I get the point of everyone wanting another striker, and I agree with them. I'd say if no one goes now, I think we're in a decent spot to move forward, other than, again, I've said in the last few shows that I feel like we need a 10 to 20 goal striker easily, but can I see that in someone like AU? I probably could. I think he's probably too good for the Championship and just not to the higher level in the Premier League, but we have to see how it goes. Again, we have to sell first, and he's at Hermanson. We'll obviously talk about that a bit later, but I don't know. Chaps, the morning, how we doing, mate? Ian says, good morning, full Foxes fans. Are you ready for the big kickoff not long away? It isn't really, is it? It's not. It's only 2 weeks to go. Do you know what? This summer has felt quite quick in the fact of, because we kept waiting for news from the new manager. When Rude was getting sacked, then the new manager, then players leaving and all that. It's got to the point where now we've got 2 weeks left and we've not even done half the stuff we thought we would have done by now. But there is rumours like Andy Medhurst says, why have we signed Begovic? We need a striker. I think the main reason for buying Begovic, which on my side of things isn't great, but I'd say Begovic coming in is just kind of filling the void of either the goalkeeper coach, or because we let Ward go, there's a chance that he could just be a fill-in for like the cup games and whatnot. Obviously, Bowser we've only seen in pre-season. I don't think we've ever seen Bowser play in a game like like Premier League or even in a cup. I don't think we've ever seen him there. So I'm not saying that we were trusting him in a cup game. Maybe Begovic is that backup keeper if we need him and partly coach. But my thought is I don't want it. I don't want it to happen. And Nick will say that it won't happen. But I feel like there's a slim chance that because he has experience with QPR and Cifuentes, is there a chance that maybe he comes first choice? I don't know. I don't want it to be, but hey. Wayne, morning, mate. Andy says, "Is Koulibaly going?" I don't think he is. He's only came last season. I've seen him a few times in pre-season. I don't think he's going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I think he might be a backup to JJ, but I don't know. Jamie, how we doing, mate? Long time no see. When are you coming back? People are asking for you. Simon Swan says morning. And Philip Bliss says we have got Jakub Begovic and Hermanton. Well, Hermanton, as it stands, looks like he might be leaving for around £20 million, I'm not mistaken, to West Ham. And I think out of all the Premier League teams, I think that would, if I had to pick one before he even left, I think West Ham would suit it quite well because I just think they're not incredible team. They're not a really bad team in the Premier League. They're a mid-table team, which I think kind of works okay for him. Pass. Works busy. Yeah, fair enough. Last comment before we do get Nick in. Mirko does say morning from Holland. How we doing? I wish I could tell you what. Jamie would know what to say. I ain't got a clue. What's hello in Holland or Dutch, whatever you call it? I don't know. Nick, we'll bring in now. Nick, how we doing, mate?
Morning, kiddo. You all right?
Yeah, obviously there's a few things to talk about. We'll start with the preseason games on Friday. Obviously, we had two games. I'm not going to say that the first one was because I ain't got a clue how to say it. But Cologne as well. Obviously, the one we did lose. But what was your thoughts after them two games? Because again, I was very, very surprised when seeing both of the team sheets and I thought the better team would have been over at Cologne, and people were saying to me that probably was, but about half of that team for me, and I guess they maybe just split it, but I don't know. Cologne was probably the better one to go and try and put a better team out against, maybe.
Uh, I don't think it really matters, mate. It's pre-season. It's just getting their fitness and their minutes
Yeah.
in their legs, and Cifuentes working on the tactics side of things of how he wants to play. I mean, if there was a couple of players that come on against Cologne that even played the first game. So for me, that just goes to show it was more fitness and tactic.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the goal we scored against Cologne, I thought was a great finish by us, to be fair.
Yeah.
JJ came close a couple of times and stuff with long ranges and stuff. But one defeat out of five, that's pretty good sign, to be fair. And Cologne are no mugs. They are a steady Bundesliga team that have been in that Bundesliga for a hell of a long time. So no, we'll just keep going. But we just need now, because it's obviously 2 weeks today is when we kick off against Wednesday, and then a week today we've got Fiorentina.
Mm-hmm.
I think now we keep working on what Marty wants us to play, and we try and get some new faces in, some fresh blood in, and some players out. So that's all we really could hope for.
No, I agree, and I said before we played the Cologne game after we beat the first team on Friday that I said if we could get, I said if we could be unbeaten all season, all pre-season, and obviously then beat Cologne and beat Fiorentina, you would have said that was incredible. Even if the level of some teams weren't amazing, we would have done well. But if we do somehow get a good result versus Fiorentina, I'd say 5 out of 6 results, or is it 6 out of 7? I'm not sure, but one loss out of the lot. I think you would say that is a very good preseason going into the new season, wouldn't you?
I would say so. I'd also say that the Fiorentina game, we're going to be playing against, with our home fans in the stadium as well, which will be a bit of a help for them as well. I mean, how many, is it 3 games we played in Austria? So,
Yeah.
there was barely any fans of Leicester there at all. You might have got the odd speck of blue, but it was very, very, very small, wasn't it? So,
Mhm.
they can have the home game next Sunday, and the crowds can be. Hopefully, it's a nice day, and the crowds are up for it, and having a nice day out, and hopefully seeing some new players.
Yes, hopefully, mate. Hopefully. Um, Armchair Jockey has also said about Koulibaly definitely going. I'm not seeing any rumours in
I've not
this,
seen. I've not seen that.
and I would be very surprised because again, for me, out of all the position, all the fullbacks we've got, I know obviously Ricardo would probably be that first choice at right back, but for me, as much as I get the point of JJ's doing okay, I think there's certain attributes of Koulibaly that I think we could really use in effect going forward, which I know we've not seen too much of, and people are saying, how can you tell from a few games? But there's obviously a reason we brought him in, and I know it was only £2 million, but you've got to kind of use just what you've got, and you can't just leave him out like you did with Winks and Vestergaard last
I mean,
season.
he's only been here 6 months as well. Let's not
Yeah.
forget we bought him in January.
Mm.
So, and that was under the old regime. You've now got Marty here. I've not seen any rumours going. I'd be interested to see who's supposedly put a bid in, or who's. It may be just the agent talk.
Mm.
A lot of
Yeah.
it is agent talk this time of year. Look at Isak at Newcastle. Look at Morgan Gibbs White at Forest. Oh, he signed a new deal now.
Yeah.
Funny
Yeah.
that.
They might be able to
So
just make top 10 after that.
we'll
Um,
see.
Chris Tidd here says, morning, Reedy and Nick. Preseason games so far, after watching them, I think we'll be okay. Mongo and Fatawu look very sharp and full of tricks. Yeah, I think we've got to talk about the Fatawu appearance against Cologne because I felt like when he came on, I don't think he put a foot wrong. He did try and do what he normally does, try and beat man. He had a little skill as well to try and beat him going to the byline. But I think this is the season where we need to see the best of him as well because I think in a way we were kind of lucky that he got injured last season because I think if he did show up more than he wanted to last season, then there's every chance he could have been took offers. But this season, I think he's breakthrough in the fact of he has done it last time in the championship, but now he's back. He'll probably want to try and fight and do what he can to show how good he is.
I think we've also got to be a little bit patient with Fatawu as well. It was a
Mhm.
massive injury he sustained. The only positive is he's not walking into the championship cold because he knows what to expect because his first season with us, he destroyed the championship with us. But he had some flashes in the Cologne game, and he did, and hopefully he gets more minutes against Fiorentina as well, and he's ready to go. But for me, Monga again, all from what we've seen of him during this preseason, he's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I know it's preseason, it's a different type of tempo, and let's be fair, preseason games are pretty much just a kick about on a pitch, but you can see the pure talent that's in Monga.
Mhm.
He's definitely one for the future. If he's not with us, he'll end up going for big money somewhere else. You can just see it. He's such an amazing player, and at such a young age as well. That's the scary thing. He's 16, really.
Yeah, and I've said I think in the championship. I know obviously you couldn't really tell with the level of a player when they did so well in the championship, but I've said this about Fatawu as well. When he came in, I think he was only 18 or 19, and
Hmm.
I've said that the level that I can see him being at is that high level. In the fact of in the next couple of years, I won't be shocked if he goes like a Sadio Mane kind of deal for when he went from Southampton to Liverpool, that sort of level, or Jota from Wolves to Liverpool. That obviously it's a big one, and I think there's every chance that um he could make it. And again, that's why I said I think this is a season where he has to kind of show what he can do. And as much as I don't want to lose him, I think he's the best what we've had since Mahrez has left in that right wing spot. In the fact of the level we want a right winger to be. Obviously, we've had loads of other ones like Gazelle and all that, but I don't think anyone gets to the level of Mahrez, but I think the closest we've got is Fatawa at the moment, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. The, going back to Mongo, I think it just goes to show how much quality we've got coming
Mm,
out of the academy at the minute. You've
yeah.
got Mongo, you've got Nelson, Aluko looks a good little prospect. Jake Evans, he's doing okay and easing himself in. We've got so much talent coming through the academy. Bowser, the goalkeeper, he looks okay. Yeah, I think it's on that sort of side of things. I think there's definitely positives to look into.
Yeah.
So, and it'll also do PS if we do have to sell them at some point in the future. It'll do the PSR good as well because that's pure profit.
Well, there's every chance he could go for 80, 90 million in the fact of how young
Exactly.
he is. And
Hmm.
I know people are saying, oh, you can't sell someone that young for that much, but you can if he looks like he's worth it.
Oh, of course you can.
Obviously, we have got Fiorentina up next. And again, this week now, I think we've got to look at transfers and we've just got to make sure that someone is out the door. Like, as much as, in a way, I don't really care if Mads Hermansen goes. But in the fact of, if we keep him, I still say I won't start him. I still want Jakub Solicic in goal.
I
Um,
think so. For me, Stolacic is the number one for me.
yeah,
Hermansen's not looked right since his injury and
mm,
his operation. I don't know. If we can get 20 million for him, sell him. And
yeah,
that's no disrespect. Mads has been a good player. He was a fantastic keeper for us in that championship winning season. For the first part of last season, he was keeping us in games most of the time. But then obviously the injury happened, and we know the rest. So if we can and we only paid a small fee for him, so we're making profit on him if we can get 20 mil for him.
no, I agree. And again, I think West Ham's an ideal club for him to go to. I think that he would solidify his place, and I don't think there's anyone that would take his role there other than, like, say, Ariola. But you said that
He
apparently
dropped.
last night it
Yeah.
was.
He last night. Or this early hours this morning. They played Man United. Man U won 2-1, and the goals that Man U scored were Ariola's fault.
There you go.
They were- we
That's probably why they're looking for a new one.
the errors make Danny Ward look competent. That's all I'm going to say. If you go and watch the highlights on YouTube, you'll see what I mean.
I'll have a look after this.
They are awful errors.
I will have to have a look at it after this. Obviously the rumours about El Canoes leaving, I don't think has kind of arisen again recently. He looks like at the moment he could be staying, which I think most fans would be very, very happy with. But again, I think there's still just over a month left of the window, so there's every chance someone would go, even if they after the start of the season. But
It could go to with Velkanus. That could go to deadline day.
yeah,
Clubs get an injury first couple of games of the season, and then they start panic. That's where you make your panic buys, don't you?
yeah,
And then obviously, but the selling club like us would be have the power because we'll say, well, okay, if you want him that bad, you pay this. Do you know what I mean? So, but again, I think we'd be even if we lost Alcanus, I don't think we'd be that weak losing him.
no.
Myself, I really
Um,
don't.
I think depending on who people are wanting or expecting to be in that role, if Elkanus did leave, I think people who are saying like Will Alves, I'd say that I think you've not lost the plot, but I just think like you're asking too much of a player like that. Who, again, I know Elkanus is young, but I think we've seen the level of the ceiling he can reach to. Whereas I don't think we've ever seen where Will Alves probably reached the levels to in a way. I think through preseason, people have said that he's not the same player as what we know of before. Um, Maybe it's just hype around a young player, but again, people are wanting mongering more games than I think we should be doing this season. In the fact of they want him to play 30, 40 games, which I don't think is anywhere near. I think the games that he should be playing. I think you can't be chucking a player in like that at that young. But again, Mabadidi could play the 10 role. I don't know because then where you play, who you playing on the left wing? Again, people will say Monga, but I don't. Who would you place into that 10 role if Elkanus did leave?
You could go. I think Steffi could fill that role in number 10 if need be. I think you could even, depending on the striker situation, you could even potentially put IE in that 10 position.
Yeah.
Somebody that would hold the ball up and he would bring others into play. But again, Will Alves, he could fill but it's a big ask for Will Alves to fill it.
Hmm.
But we haven't had a decent number 10 realistically. I would argue since we had lost Maddison.
Yeah.
Maddison was the last decent number 10 we had. So, and those sort of players, they don't come cheap. So we'll have to see.
No, I agree. Armchair Jockey does mention that Monger is wasted on the wing, which I don't see that. I don't think that's an issue at
I
all.
don't think so. I think
I think if anything, he's just absolutely dominated some of
has
the.
Armchair watched the pre-season games where he's had like the right backs of the opposing teams
Well,
in his
he's
pocket and
just played a
turning them inside
Bundesliga.
out?
He's just played a Bundesliga back line, and he's just absolutely rinsed them. So
Mm,
I think if you can play against them, and you do quite well, because
yeah.
they're known for more of a very very defensive slash like strong back line. So
Mhm.
there's every chance that Elkanus could do it. Not Elkanus, Monga could do anything he wants against anyone. Let's see what more comments we've got. Neil Birchnell says Elkanus is not the finished article, but I'm not sure a top team would take a chance on him for the money we are going to want. I think what we're giving the money for and what we're offering is, to be honest, cheap for him. Again, and I probably rate him too highly. And the fact of I feel like he's probably too good for us anyway, but somewhere like 20, what is it, 22.5, 2 million more than what we probably bought him for. For me, I think that's like a bargain for anyone. Like say, if Forest lost Morgan Gibbs White, you could just wipe that money off and pay for him. Like say, I think he's at. I know he's not the level of Morgan Gibbs White, but
But I would
22 million.
I would agree with Neil myself, and if 22.5 million came in for El Canoes, I would seriously be considering selling it. If you can get
Oh no, I
20
know.
for
I am.
20
I'm
plus for
saying.
Hermansen and 22.5 for El Canoes, and then obviously if I know who else I'd like to leave, and we can bring those wages down. We've got 40 plus million effectively we could put in the transfer kitty and bolster the squad.
No,
You could
I'm
even
not.
look at the deals where players have got 12 months less on their contract and you get a steal. So uh, again, like Neil says, I don't think El Canoes is the finished article. And I
Oh, I'm
think
not saying. I'm saying that the ceiling is very, very high for him in my eyes.
there is, but also, mate, it's the Championship and the Premier League is two totally different leagues.
Mhm.
You've seen yourself how much of the last time we were in it, how much of a slog and a grind it is. You're playing Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games in the Championship, and I think Gal Canoes, if he does stay, he's in for a bit of a culture. He's in for a bit of a culture shock.
No, I get you, and there's every chance that he could absolutely fail it. I
Mm.
think majority of people that when we got relegated, people saying if Elkanou stays, I think he'll rip the league up into pieces. I would say that this quality wise, I think there's every chance he could be the player of the season in the championship next year because I think that's the level he probably can be. But looking at your face, there's every chance you think no, there's no chance. I don't know.
No, but I'm just thinking because you said he'd rip the Championship up, and I remember we said similar things in the striking situation was about Kelechi ripping it up, Daka ripping it up. Did they rip it up? No. So
Well, no,
do
because we
you
had
know what I mean?
Vardy.
Just
They were
because.
never gonna get. They were never gonna get
No,
like
but
a
what I'm
run at them.
saying is you expected a lot of people expected certain players to come in and rip it up just because we got relegated. It didn't happen. If anything, the players that you could argue that ripped it up that season were again Varda. I thought Harry Winks that season was fantastic. The one I didn't see come in was Vestergaard. Vestergaard had a fantastic season as centre back. But again, wow, Faz wasn't brilliant that season.
No.
So it's a hell of a hard slog to
Yeah.
get through, and I think it's a bit of a culture shock for the players.
Yeah, I agree, but I think with the team we've got right now, if we don't lose many other players other than maybe Hermanson and Alcanis, I still think we've got the squad to do what we need, what we wanted to do, and get us to at least playoffs. But people are expect. I saw somebody on TikTok and they put a predictions out, and they put us 12th, and the amount of comments were like 12th, like what the hell are you on about? But there's every chance. There's every
Of
chance we
course
could
there
get like
is.
relegated this season because of the point deduction. How like
Well,
we
it
don't
happened
know
to
we've got.
Luton.
we don't know it's going to be smooth sailing. We don't know.
It happened.
We've got
It
too
happened
good
to
of a team.
Luton.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
The Luton fans last season think they would get
No,
relegated to relegations
no,
on the bounce. I don't think they did.
no. Oh, there's every
That's
chance
the
we do.
problem. That's the problem. Sometimes as a football fan, you can
You
get too
want
cocky,
the
and
best.
yeah, you do. But sometimes you got to be realistic. We have got a points deduction coming our way. We know this. We are 2 weeks away from the season actually starting, and we've bought in a free transfer.
Mm.
And the refresh really hasn't happened yet, has it? So
I'd say
we
the
need to
team.
start shifting.
I'd say the team we've got on paper, you'd say there's easily top 6 in the championship. But the fact is, because obviously you got to look at it, it's not a team that was built by like I'm not saying it's because of Enzo. I'm saying that because Enzo came in really early and built a really compact squad
It's
to
not
go
again
into
though,
it.
really. Again,
We've only brought a manager in like a week and a half ago, so it's
this
like
team we've currently got has not just been built. It's been built by multiple managers. It's been
mm,
built by Rodgers. It's
no,
been
yeah,
built by Dean Smith. It's been built by Enzo, Rude,
mm,
now Marta. We
it's a
we
mixture
haven't
of
had a man
everyone.
like Enzo didn't. Enzo should have really done the refresh, and it never happened. You know, the board and all that lot couldn't give him the money to go and sign that Sensi lad
Yeah,
from Inter Milan, I believe it was back then,
yeah.
for a couple of million, and they couldn't do it.
It was actually at the training ground as well.
Yeah, and we couldn't do it because the club has messed the finances up, and
Mm.
Marty knows he's got to sell before he can buy. So
That's the
we do
problem.
really need the players gone.
But the problem is we're all very, very much late on everything now, isn't it? Because obviously we brought the manager in really late, and then he had to assess the players like quite late in the season, in the preseason.
Hmm.
Now it's got to the point now where to literally are 2 weeks at 3 o'clock today until we kick off against Sheffield Wednesday, and we've got to
Yep.
basically do all of our business, or at least the business he wants to do before we start the first game in 2 weeks. It's very, very tough. I know it can be done. And again,
It can be done, but
If
I still
Edmonton
think
goes today, there's every chance we can get 2 players in before
I
two
still
weeks.
think we'll be finding. We'll I like to think that they're not going to try and rush it through
No,
in 2 weeks.
no,
You
I
can
agree.
you could get 2 or 3 in within 2 weeks, get them bedded in with the group, and tell the players out these players how we want to play. And if we do need some more, we have got till the 31st of August on
Hmm.
deadline day to do some business.
Yeah.
That's when I'm expecting. By the 31st of August, we know that's the squad we're rocking with. I'm not going to worry about January because we never do deals in January. We've not
Yeah.
got a history of doing it. So for me, Rudkin's got to finally earn some money for once and do some deals and get stuff sorted. But again, it's Rudkin, and I don't, whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know, mate.
No, I agree. Last thing I'm going to ask then, Nick, is going into Fiorentina. I know obviously I know Phil will be talking about it more tomorrow, but what was your kind of thoughts or interest going into this last preseason games? Again, I think for me, it's got to be putting that first team out there and making sure whoever you want to start has got a full 90 minutes or at least 70, 80 minutes in their legs ready to go for the week after.
I'm just looking forward to having football back
Hmm. That one, of
myself.
course.
For me, I hate the summer when there's no World Cup or Euros and stuff like
Hmm.
that. I think it's so boring. So I'm going to be going down on a week today, and the football's back.
Hmm.
And yeah, if we can pick close to what the starting 11's going to be, hopefully we get a decent crowd. I mean, the tickets, I think personally, 20 quid for a decent tie against Fiorentina, we're a fairly big club in Italy.
Mm.
It's
And they
kind
have
of a
been in.
steal.
I think they were in the final of Europe. Is it the Europa League when West Ham beat them? But
Mm. I
again,
think
and
they've got some big players as well. I think David De Gea still plays in goal for
yeah,
them. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I think it will be close to the first 11 that we're going to expect to see on the following Sunday against Wednesday. You may get a couple of subs come in, where you see some like a Luco, for example, some players that have played well in pre-season just to give them some more minutes. But it'd be nice to get down to the
It will do,
ground
yeah.
again, and hopefully in the sunshine, have a beer and a bit of a sing-song, and hopefully see some players. And yeah, it's good.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, I can't wait for football to be back, mate. To be honest, I've not missed it over the last 2 or 3 months, but now it's like getting there. I am excited again. Nick, I appreciate you coming on. We'll probably see you either next week or even tomorrow if you're gonna pop on to Phil's show.
Yeah, I'll see where I am about tomorrow, but more than likely you might see me tomorrow at some
There you
point.
go.
Worst case scenario, it will be in the comments ribbing you about your love for Dakar.
There you go. Nick, appreciate you coming on, and we'll catch you next time. See you in a bit, mate.
Take care, kiddo.
And there you go, guys. Again, make sure to follow us on Leicester Fan or Leicester Fan TV on all socials, of course. And we'll catch you all on the next show. Again, make sure to comment your views on all the posts we put out, and make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you coming on, guys, and we'll catch you all on the next show. See you in a bit.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow Leicester Fan TV on all socials.